Hi, it's lovely to see you.
And you too, looking fabulous.
Thank you, my darling. Thank you. Well, so many people have said, "Oh no, you can't stay in South Florida in the summer. It's absolute hell." But we love it. I mean, it's
It's
very
suiting you,
humid.
Petronella. It's suiting you massively. You're looking lovely.
Thank you so much. And you're looking very lovely, my darling. You're
Oh,
so
I've just finished work. I've literally got in from work. I've just slapped some lipstick on, and here we are.
Here we are. Here we are again. I think this is our third time, isn't it?
It is. It is our third time.
Yeah, and it's really, really lovely that you're doing this. And thank you so much, Christina, because I know that you started HBD. It was not this January, the January before, wasn't it?
Yes,
And
2021.
yeah, and you did it not because you imagined it would have any effect on the endometriosis, but because you just wanted to feel better and lose a bit of weight.
Yes, like the rest of the world, I'd overindulged far too much during lockdown, and I'd got right up into like size 22. And I just felt the lowest I've ever felt. My endometriosis was probably the worst it had ever been. And I was just, I think, well, we know the whole of the world was feeling low then, but I just thought I can't carry on like this. So I put a Facebook post on talking about diets, and a lovely Vicky, my friend, commented and told me about the human being diet and said, she sent me the link to Amazon actually and said, just buy this book and read it. I'm going to say nothing else. Just read it and go from there. And here we are, 18 months later.
What a good friend, Vicky. Amazing.
I
Yeah.
know, I know, lovely. I've shared with lots of people, as I have always tried to do with the endometriosis community, about helping and trying to heal naturally from endometriosis. And now my inbox is constantly questions about human being diet, about endometriosis, about managing obviously symptoms holistically and naturally through nutrition. So that's what I suggested to you. Actually, it's probably worth us getting together just to help these people that are either thinking of it. Some have brought the book already, because quite a few have messaged me to say that they've purchased it already. They're just reading it and they're just gearing up to starting. So
Yeah.
I thought this was quite a useful little chat for everyone.
That's great, Christy. Thank you. Bless you. And the questions that you've been getting, are there any particular ones that just keep coming up again and again?
No, just probably all about it. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if it was if you maybe just talking or maybe giving probably a brief overview of how obviously some of the different ways of nutrition can reduce some of the inflammation in the body,
Yeah.
which is what. So obviously, as I've shared previously, and I've shared recently when I did a video, that I did it for weight loss, and it was only actually when I read the book and I read about the inflammation part that I thought, oh, I wonder if this will help. And then my naive part, from where doctors had probably incorrectly informed me previously, thought, no, it's gynae, that won't be inflammation, it won't be this, but kind of it kept ticking. And then into HBD was when I had my first natural period with no hormones, no contraception, no nothing. And it crept up on me. I didn't even realise I was going to start a period. And it's been like that for 18 months later. Every single month, it catches me out by surprise because I probably, after 20 years and plus, well, no, it'd be 30 years plus of having that, you kind of mentally don't catch up with not having that pain and not having that dread. So each month I go, oh, that's a surprise. Again, I'm never prepared. So yeah, I thought that might be a bit of a useful overview if that's okay.
That would be, yeah, no, really good idea. And I think that we put up a newsletter in September 21, and you said it's hard to think that a lot of that suffering, you described what you've been going through, might have been avoided if I could have helped myself before and without the need for medical interventions. Because Christy's had so many operations and so many procedures. She's really been through hell and back with this.
Probably every 2 years I've had surgery, every 2 years since the age of from 17 onwards, because, and I alluded this to the other day, that it kind of some of the adhesions, as a lot of the community will know, that as soon as you cut them away, it's like weeds in the garden. So sometimes as soon as you'd cut them out without proper management, they grow back.
Very
maybe
bad.
some worse, and then that with the scar tissue from the surgeries just builds up. It makes your pain feel worse. Yeah, it's and that's when you kind of end up at A&E. You're on your opioids constantly. You're passing out. You're physically being sick, as well as the migraine side of things. And yeah, it's a horrible place, horrible way to live, and a horrible place to be.
Horrible way to live. If anybody's just joining, we're talking about endometriosis, which is it's still sort of it's a mysterious disorder, but what it means is that the tissue that should be growing only in the womb starts growing in other places, and it results in can be excruciating, debilitating pain. Christy had to be taken to A&E a few times, and as she was saying, you know, throwing up with the pain and awful migraines and everything else. And she started HBD not thinking it would have any effect on the endo, but because she wanted to lose weight. You know, it was that time lockdown and everybody had been overeating and overdrinking and overdoing it generally. And we were all anxious. It was a really tough time. And Christy very kindly came on and shared her experience of HBD. I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she also said, it was, I put it up on the website, but it's important for me to also acknowledge how far I've come on that journey and to remind myself that I never want to go back to feeling the way I did before and letting endometriosis define me and my life, because it was all consuming. You know, when you're suffering like that, there isn't really any room for any normal life at all. That is life.
Yeah, it would define you socially, your relationships with friends, with family, even your personal relationships,
Yeah,
your life. It becomes you,
yeah, really, really horrible.
and it's horrible.
So I did talk about inflammation in the book, and I think that's probably what you picked up on, Chris. It's on page 37 of the Human Being Diet, and it's about danger signals and low-grade inflammation. And I said there that all our chronic diseases, including depression, obesity, allergies, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune diseases, migraine, osteoporosis, asthma, skin problems, on and on. And I could also have added in there endometriosis. I can't remember if is it PMT or PMS in the UK and the other one in the USA. Anyway, premenstrual syndrome or premenstrual tension. Those are all signs that there's some underlying inflammation going on in the body. And the only way to get that inflammation under control is by changing what and how we eat. And that's exactly what Christy found, that it really helped to get the inflammation back under control, and that had a knock-on effect on the horrible endometriosis. Because there's a strong relationship. Obviously, all the hormones are doing all sorts of miraculous things in their body, but if we've got too much insulin, for instance, because we're eating too many carbohydrates, then we've got too much inflammation going on in the body. And there's a direct link between insulin and endometriosis, but also links with cortisol, which is one of our stress hormones, and of course estrogen. So, you know, you could say that one of the ways to describe endometriosis would be to say that it's a situation where we have estrogen dominance, too much estrogen. And your period started when you were 8, Christine, and horrible,
Yeah,
almost word go.
I remember. Yeah, I was 8 years of age at the time. I didn't have a clue what was happening. I remember going to the toilet and seeing blood, and I remember hiding it from my mum,
Yeah.
hiding it because I didn't know what it was. You feel scared. You think, oh, because obviously no one educates you at that age. And then obviously had the conversation with my mum. I was always aware, probably at that age, that period wise I was always very different to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So at the age of 8, nobody else had periods, so I almost felt then I wasn't normal. And then going into secondary school, when other girls used to get their periods, I kind of then twigged on that the kind of tampons and towels or pads that they would use, I'd come with a big massive bag with almost like real heavy, like period pads with heavy tampons, whereas the girls could probably just go at that young age just with panty liners. And I
Yeah.
just thought, why am I wearing these kind of nappies, if you like, and not being able to go out? Not where we used to go ice skating every Friday, and the trend back in the 90s, in the early mid 90s, was white jeans with the checked shirts, and you're like, And I could never do that. And I always at that age was like, I can't wear leggings, I can't wear white jeans, everything like that, because it was horrific, absolutely horrific.
Really, really horrible. And
Yeah,
it just, we feel so insecure, and that our early teenage years are so difficult anyway, and to have that on top of everything else, really, really tough.
yeah. And I really had to fight. And I've said to probably again over the last week to so many women that have kind of posted about their own journeys and the doctors not telling them the right thing. I had to really fight and fight. And I keep saying to them, no, go back. You need to go back to your GP and say you need another referral, you want to do that, as well as investigating your own version, like your own way. I just wished that at 19, 20, somebody had told me, like, and I can never reiterate that enough. And I always say to you, the human being diet's changed my life, and it has. It's probably changed who I am. It has changed who I am. It's changed my personal life, professionally, everything. I'm completely a different person. And I don't put that down to the weight loss side of things. I think it's the freedom. I've been uncaged. I feel I've been uncaged from this lock that I've had around my ankle for so many years, that I'm now like, yes, I'm free.
You're free.
I'm free.
I love the fact that you were channeling your inner leopard this morning when you were going to work.
The leopard is being uncaged, Petronella.
That's really good news. No, it's really, really wonderful. And that's, a message from Jules saying, helping others, you are amazing. And you are, Christy. You're really like a ray of sunshine. And we really, really love you and appreciate you. And
Get emotional. I'll be like that. No.
Exactly.
Don't cry, Jules. Stop being nice.
So any particular tips that you'd have for, I think there are quite a lot of newbies lining up to get started on the 10th September. I know, I think that you said that you were kind of an all or nothing person. If you decide you're going to do something, you go the whole hog and you just say, that's it, no deviations, this is what I'm doing. And I think that's really, really helpful. And I'm always saying to people, there's nothing wrong with bulletproof coffee or whatever, but if you're doing HBD, do HBD. Don't do a little bit of HBD and a little bit of that and a little bit of something else, because you won't get the results that you want. You need to be pure about it.
And I'm going to reset in September. So it's my birthday on the 8th of September. So I've just booked a little trip. I'm going to go to Greece on the 4th of September. So I plan to be away for my birthday, and then I come back and I'm going to go straight into doing the reset after my holiday. So I'm having a little solo trip, just me.
Oh, lovely, really lovely. Where are you going in Greece?
To Zante. So it's where I went to at the end of May. I'm going back now. I've got like, I call them my Greek family, my sister and mum and dad. So I'm going to go and stay with them. I'll stay in one of their properties and literally relax. And I'll try and stay. I find even for people that are struggling on holidays, the Mediterranean food is so easy for HBD.
It is, isn't it? It's perfect. That basically,
yeah.
The Mediterranean diet, people talk about focusing on, lots of fruit and vegetables and whole grains. And we, HBDers, we focus more on vegetables over the fruit, and we definitely don't focus on grains.
No.
It's sad because it's still the official advice, eat lots of whole grains. Doesn't matter if they're whole or not. They're generally not very good for us.
And I know probably in terms of coming back to when you asked me what kind of tips I would give to people, it's like you say, stick to it. If you stick to it, it works. Don't think, oh, okay, I can have this in between. It's fine. It's not as bad as what would I've had before and all of that. No, stick to it to a latter. In terms of probably anybody suffering from an endometriosis point of view, what I find really helps me, and this has been probably 18 months of me playing around, probably the week before my period, I cut out a lot of nightshade vegetables, and I eat. And that was my body that started craving that more. So almost kind of the week before, I tend to cut out red meat. I tend to cut out cheeses, and I eat a lot more either white fish or white, like chicken or turkey. And I eat a lot more greens than I would previously. And then the week after, obviously the week of my period, I will eat kind of more red meats. And I notice even when I don't, if I don't do that before, I don't get the pain, but I'll bloat more. Whereas when I have those, actually, it is the complete surprise. So I eat a lot more like leeks and spinach, broccoli. I do eat like cauliflower. Kind of, I want to call them more traditional vegetables, is how I view it in my head.
They are, and they're also all very good sources of magnesium. And
Okay.
magnesium is the antidote to cramping and things like that. So you're doing exactly the right thing for your body. And great that you realize that if you don't cut out the nightshades, that you also notice you have more inflammation.
Yep, and I do. And it's the same with kind of some of the red meats as well. So I will eat the white meat, like say just white meats or white fish around that time, just as I say, to help me, and I feel that a lot better.
Feel a lot better. No, that's wonderful. Really, really wonderful. Well done for tuning in. The body is very clever, and it does give us some messages if we only just listen to it, or listen to it carefully. Just seeing if there are any questions up here. Oh, here we go. Do you want to answer this, Christy? Just starting phase 2, if you're avoiding dairy, can you have coconut yogurt instead of cow's milk yogurt, please?
No. No. Sorry. No.
It's because the coconut yogurt, even though it tastes delicious, has got much more fat in it and much less protein. And what we want to do early in the morning, first thing, as soon as we're having our breakfast, is give our body a really good protein hit, and that sort of gets the fat burning off to a good start for the day. So no. Let's see anything else here.
I also find, if it does help anybody else in terms of with inflammation for breakfasts, I would probably say, if you are just starting off, I avoided natural yogurt and fruit for about 4 months. It was only kind of well into the later stages of phase 3 that I introduced natural yogurt and fruits for breakfast. I kind of stuck to white fish, white meat, or egg. And I think that really helped me. I don't know if there's a science behind it, Petronella. I'm sure you can tell me this, but
your body needed the protein for sure.
Yep.
And dairy is quite allergenic, and a lot of us have problems with wheat and or dairy, and that's why I recommend to everybody, and you just did it naturally, that you have at least 16 days without any dairy at all, and then you reintroduce your yogurt or cheese and just see how your body reacts. And some people find that they're in incredible pain, or very bloated, or they come out in spots, or all kinds of things. And the only way to find out if it is a problem food for you is to get rid of it and then reintroduce it and see what happens. So after 4 months, Christy, you thought, well, I'll just try this and see. You felt confident enough.
Yeah.
We're talking about the yogurt and fruit. Yeah.
Yes, and I've been fine with that. I don't have it too often anyway, because I personally find, for me, it doesn't fill me up. No. If I have yogurt and fruit within an hour, I'm really hungry, I'm really starving, and I'm like looking at the clock going, has it been? Yeah, I'm hungry. And you're swigging water like mad, trying to feel full, but you just get I'm better on eggs, an omelette, egg muffins, which are in the recipe book. Egg muffins, anything, eggs, scrambled eggs, anything I'm absolutely fine with. But no, I'm always hungry. If I have nuts or yogurt, it doesn't fill me.
Doesn't fill you. No, well, thank goodness you've discovered eggs. Do you ever branch out and have smoked salmon and avocado or anything like that? Or you just find that eggs really suit you and you want to stick to something that keeps you going? Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm not really that keen on fish that much. So
I remember you said, sorry.
White meat, white fish, fine. Salmon and avocado I'm not really keen on. So I'm like,
And the really good tip from you just there, Christy, on water. Anytime you feel hungry or tired or angry or anything, any kind of feeling you don't like, drink water. Really helps, doesn't it? Yeah.
And also I'd say for the new starters, again, if you feel that you're craving something sweet, or you think I'm the 16-day detox, of everything, I'm going to crash. Always saying, I know we speak about it lots, but a dash of apple cider vinegar and sparkling water will work.
It really does, and it really, really helps. And it looks with wine cravings, but obviously only with, really, really good. HBD Jules P says, what supplements do you take, please, Christy?
So do you know what? I don't take many, if I'm honest. I used to in the beginning, but kind of now I think my body's kind of felt into a natural. So all I take is vitamin D, vitamin C. I used to take magnesium at the start. Obviously, just kind of toilet wise, I wasn't going to the toilet as often as I used to pre-HBD. That's for a poo, if anyone's noticing, sorry. However, probably after 2 to 3 months of taking magnesium, it's kind of fell into its own natural rhythm now. So yeah,
Good.
that is
Really
literally take.
good. But that's perfect. You know, you look really well. You feel really well. You're getting a fabulous array of nutrients in your diet. So that's just fine. I just wanted to say, because it's a very common side effect of starting HBD. Like, and I know, you know, we're not. It's supposed to be rude talking about pooping, but we all do it, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, or try to anyway. And so I just want to say, if you are having problems in that department, it's very, very important you go to the loo every day, and you're not doing little rabbit droppings. You're doing proper, you know, proper sized cigar type poos. And if that's a problem, do try magnesium, which really helped Christy. And if that still doesn't do the job, it's a bit of a yeah, take the Cascara compound on the humanbeingdiet.com website. Because what happens with some people when they take magnesium is they kind of get the runs, but they're still not really going properly. So try magnesium and extra vitamin C, and if that doesn't work, then do go for the Cascara. And you can take 5 or 6 capsules after food twice a day, and then work down from there. And it's not something you'll need to be on forever. You know, it's just like Christy was saying, to get you back into a routine and a rhythm again. A pooing routine. That's what we want.
I've just seen another question actually, Petronella.
Yeah.
That says they just started on day 3, and after next Saturday I can commit to all of the rules. But if I have alcohol on Saturday, will I have to start all over again? I've lost all weight already, but will it all go on again? So I would say, don't drink on Saturday. It's not worth it. You're going to break the detox, the cleansing of your liver. I'm sure I'll let Petronella tell you the science, but don't do it. It's not worth it.
No, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it is. We're, the first 16 days, it's not just the first 2 days. The first 16 days, way into phase 3, we're detoxing. And if you have alcohol, then all the good things that you've done to your body, and you know the pressure you've taken off your liver, like Christy was saying, you're just piling it back on again. So take a little bottle of apple cider vinegar with you, and just put it in a bit of sparkling water. And if anybody asks you or offers you a drink, say yes, how lovely, thank you, and then put it down, and put your apple cider vinegar into sparkling water. If you're eating at the same time, of course. Yeah.
And I would say to that person, don't feel pressured. I love, I'm sure you've probably all seen on my stories, probably wine, champagne, everything is much as the best, probably more than most people. However, it's not worth it. And if I can do it, anyone can. It's really not worth it. Apple cider vinegar and sparkling water,
Yeah.
I actually really like the taste of it. It's better than most wines.
It is. Some of us call it HBD champagne. I think that Lara christened it that, I think.
She did. And it is. When I tell friends about it, they all kind of look at me and go, "Oh, what's that?" And I'm like, "No, trust me."
Yeah. We were in a restaurant. It's a really great restaurant called Calouse, and it's about 20 minutes from where we are, in a place called Wellington. And we met our architect there. We decided to take him out for lunch because he's doing a few alterations to the house, which we now have the keys to, which is amazing.
Ah.
Yeah, and I asked him if he'd like to try the HBD champagne, and he said yes, thank you. And he took one sip, but then he didn't drink any more. So I realised he didn't actually like it at all. So he just had fizzy water. But it's a bit Marmitey, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
some people seem to really hate it, but I'm with you. I love it, and it really helps with our digestive chemistry as well. Helps us break down proteins. So win-win.
I use it constantly on salads, on dressings. If
Yeah.
I'm just, say, chicken on its own with steamed vegetables or anything, dash of ACV on the chicken, it's absolutely perfect.
Perfect. And do you use Woolies?
I use Willie's.
Yeah, I use. Yeah.
Under it, always use the one with the mother.
With the mother, got to have the mother. Raw, unpasteurized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't get Woolies here. Willie will have to get their act together, because I'm back on the Braggs. That's the one that you find most often here. And that was the only one that we had in the UK for a long time. Yeah. Been off plan for 5 days and just into phase 3. Want to get back on it tomorrow. Any advice, please? Well, I think Christy will agree that if you were still in phase 2 and you're off plan, start again. You've got to have that. sacrosanct stretch of 16 days when nothing derails you. So really get clear about your reasons for starting HPD, the inspirational dissatisfaction that attracted you to it, and read those reasons every morning. And Christy, do you keep a food diary or a food and mood diary or anything to help keep you on track?
I don't. If I'm really honest, obviously over summer, and I've been quite open and shared this with everybody, that over summer I've kind of struggled on and off. I've kind of slipped in between phase 3, phase 4, and then sometimes off. When I feel that, all I do, because you feel it in your body, you feel it kind of mentally, you start to feel a bit more fatigued, your skin doesn't start kind of getting the glow. So instead of the mood diary, I just sit there and say to myself, I put myself on not a naughty step, but I kind of just say, remember why you did this.
Yeah.
I think back to how far I came, to those periods, to those years of suffering, to walking around hospital with drips on there, with absolute swelling, the operations, the time off work, everything. And I just think, no, I don't want to go back to that. And I'm never going to be that woman again. So that is what does it for me. So I don't know, for everybody's on the journey for different reasons. Personal to them, whether it's kind of mentally, physically, for weight. I would say write your reasons why. Keep those, kind of feel them.
Yeah.
Kind of really feel them and feel the emotion. And when you've come so far and you feel proud of yourself and you feel that emotion, actually, you need to dig back into that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's your motivation always, because no one's going to do it for you. You've got to, only you can do it, and only you can feel better.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice, Christy. Thank you. It's a good reminder to everybody that it's really our responsibility, and nobody else can be responsible for it. And we have to kind of seize the day and say, no, I remember why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it because I want to go through life feeling as good as I possibly can, rather than feeling half dead and no energy and, those 4 o'clock sugar cravings and everything else. You can put all that behind you. It's really...
And the community is really good in terms of, if I've ever gone quiet or fell off plan, if life's got a bit hard, I kind of get either Joe Tinker or Lara will always, like, everybody checks in, but those two will always be, are you okay? Because I'm never quiet normally, as you all know. They'll be, are you okay? You've been a bit quiet recently. And I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm here. But the community is great like that. I love that.
It's really, really lovely, isn't it? Amazing community. Really, really fabulous. And you can find a lot of people because they've got human being or HBD or something in their name. But there are some really strong gang members who haven't got HBD. So look at the people Christy follows and the people that I follow, and that will give you an idea if you're just starting out. Yeah. HBD Rosie 2021 says, I can't tolerate eggs or dairy and I'm celiac, struggle with protein. That is tough. What about smoked salmon or with avocado and a bit of tomato for breakfast, or the walnuts or seeds with a grated apple? That's really good. What are you getting?
Yeah. I'd have for breakfast sometimes.
Yeah.
With either like steamed mushrooms and some spinach. It's quite nice. Some asparagus. Somebody says that I was 16 stone, went down to 11 on keto, and now I'm back to 14. Would this be a better option?
Yes, because keto, the thing about HBD is that it's sustainable for life. Whereas keto, when you're really limiting carbs, is, in my book anyway, and when I did try it for a while and I didn't like it. I didn't like the way I felt on it. But try HBD, you've got nothing to lose except the couple of stone. And you might find that it really suits you. Because it's about relearning how to eat, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What portions, how often, and the all-important treat meal.
It is.
Yeah. A lot of people say, oh, I've got into a real rut with phase 3, I'm not losing weight anymore. And very often we find out that it's because they're not having enough calories at their treat meal. What's your favourite kind of treat meal, Christy?
See, treat meals, I've kind of, at first I saw it as, kind of when you first start, because I was coming to it from I want to lose weight point of view, rather than a health, saw it as, quick, let's have everything that I kind of...
Yeah.
Then I very quickly realised my body didn't agree with that. And I remember about my second treat meal in, I went to my friend Shelley's house for dinner. We just had jacket potatoes, which was fine. And then we had chocolate cake afterwards. And for the first time in years that I can remember, I came home. It must have not agreed with me. I came home and I was physically sick. And I'm not often physically sick. And I could feel it. I could just feel it was sat here and my body didn't like it. And I just think I'd gone too rich too soon. So now I limit it. I've gone off pizza. I've gone off everything kind of like pizza, stuff like I've had when we've been away, kind of at the seaside, some fish and chips.
Yeah.
But again, for example, I don't like how it makes me feel. As soon as I eat it, I get that heaviness in my stomach. I'm probably not right for a few days. So for me, I will often have something like either a gluten-free wrap with some chicken and salad in.
Yeah.
Something like that is absolutely perfect. In fact, that's my go-to. If I have friends over on a Saturday, which I often do, and I'll kind of use that as my treat meal, I bring lots of herbs and stuff back whenever I go to Greece. So I take a Greek meal. So I will often do kind of chicken kebabs and I won't have the wraps. But even on that, the naughtiest thing I might have might be some tiny little potatoes with some Greek herbs on. Not very often that I will splash out lots on there. I'd probably rather have the champagne. I'd probably rather have extra champagne Petronella, if I'm honest. No. So I just don't like anything too heavy now.
Well, it's suiting you, because on paper that sounds, if you like, you're not really getting enough calories because then there's not a lot of extra fat in there, but it's working for you. That's wonderful, and that's what HBD is all about. It's about finding out what suits us personally, not what suits most people. And Christy was really good and really listened to her body and worked out. She was, if you missed that bit, a week before her period, she cuts out red meat, cheese, and nightshade vegetables, because if she doesn't, she notices that she has more of an inflammatory response. Is that right?
Yeah, I tend to get probably just a little, not full twin, not endometriosis level twinges, probably what I would class as a normal period pain, where I can function without painkillers, but I will still get some pain. If I cut out those 2 weeks before, I have not one little cramp, no period pains, nothing, other than obviously the bleeding.
Yeah.
I get absolutely nothing. My periods have been shorter as well since I've been on HBD. They used to last for 8 days. And they would be heavy every single day. Since I've started this, obviously, like I've stated previously, I've gone pain-free. They're only really heavy for the first 2 days. After that, it's really, I can use minimal interventions, if we like, for them. And it's only probably 4 or 5 days max.
Well, so amazing.
Yeah, it's changed it completely. And I would say to anybody that's thinking about it, just buy the book. And I've said that in my story. Buy the book, read it, just try it. We've suffered for so long as endometriosis sufferers. You've got nothing to lose, and two, trust me, it will make a difference. And I believe it will. But if it can make a difference for me after 20 plus surgeries, hospital constantly, I was being prescribed on repeat prescription Oromorph, as well as Zapain and other strong opioids. If it could work for me, it could work for anybody. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you or you have a friend who suffers from endometriosis, do share this video with them. You're so inspiring, Christy. Really, really fabulous, wonderful. And I'm so sorry for the hell that you went through for such a long time. And as Christy was saying, I think the first time we talked, it was so hard, so tough for her family to witness her suffering and be unable to do anything to help her except call ambulances, basically. Really, really tough for everybody. Yeah.
And I'm kind of, even now on my Facebook memories, it comes up almost probably at least once or twice a month. I have a memory that goes back kind of 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, and all of them you can always think around the time of the year that it would grow. And it's weird that it always happened around the same time of the year. Maybe it was just happening quite a lot, but it would be just photos that I'd posted on there of me in hospital, or does anyone want to come and visit me? And it was kind of just, it probably, other people that probably didn't understand were probably thinking, oh, here she goes again. Is she a hypochondriac? Is this happening? Is that? And I just probably can't imagine, well, I can't imagine ever going back to that old life, ever. I never want to.
No, and you never will.
I never will, never.
Because Christy was saying, you know, sometimes, and we're all, you know, we're human beings, you know, we are fallible, and sometimes she realizes she's just let things go a little bit too far, and she remembers why she started, and then she clambers back on and gets going with it and gets back to feeling fabulous. And it's, in a way, it's quite good to have the reminder from your body saying, I remember this food, I don't like it. And so Christy uses that to rein herself in and to, you know, get back on the, not say straight and narrow, but get back to eating super simple, nutritious, healing foods. Because, you know, the body is a self-healing organism. It's not HBD that's kind of clearing up these conditions. It's the food that we're eating. You know, Hippocrates always go, let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. Almost anything can be fixed if we eat the right stuff. We give our bodies the raw materials they need to turn us back towards health. And it's, I just think it's so inspiring that, you know, we have control ultimately over our health. You know, it's no good just going to the doctor and getting a prescription for something. It's not really going to fix anything, but we can fix so much.
There is kind of those cases that you see, isn't there, where they say if you go to the doctor with any condition and they've not asked you about what you eat, what you do, X, Y, Z, and just write you a prescription, they're not really bothered about health. They're just ticking a box, aren't they?
They are, and you know they don't have any training in nutrition. You know everybody talks about a healthy diet, but very few people know what that means, other than us HBS, of course. Yeah,
we know.
We know.
And I think to everybody is what, like, again, to anyone with endometriosis, that's, I know, or anybody suffering from inflammation, and doctors are saying you might need this surgery, you might need that, and so forth. You know, as we probably know, and I know I'm very in tune with my body, we know our bodies better than anybody else.
Yeah.
Just because the medics, they're not always right. We know our own body, especially with such a unique kind of disease and condition as such as endometriosis and others of inflammation that are out there. I would say take control, because it's the only way.
It's the only way. Nobody else will.
Yeah, no, you've got to live in your body. They haven't.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice and very true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, just thinking about also, you know, perimenopausal symptoms and premenstrual syndrome and all those hormonal things. Just get onto HBD. You know, change what you eat, change the way you eat, reduce the inflammation, and everything will get better.
There's a lovely Petronella where a human being vet mum said she's had nothing as serious as me with my endometriosis, but after years of mid-cycle bleeding, and she'd had all investigations with gynae, it stopped once she'd started HBD. Says it wasn't really a huge issue for her, but it was a very welcome result. So that's, isn't it?
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's really, really good. Thank you.
I think anyone thinking of joining and starting HBD, I would say use, as Petronella said, use probably now in the next 2 weeks, no, next 2 to 3 weeks, to read the book, fully get your head around it, and start planning. Look on Instagram over the past lives, people's accounts at kind of foods, and start meal prepping, and start when we do the reset. Because I think having the community around you and everyone being in the same place at the same time would really, really be good and worth it.
Really feel it, can't you?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Really. So
community, it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
So is the reset going back to phase 2 or 3? It's going back to phase 1.
Yeah.
But remember, this is not, we don't want to do any yo-yo dieting. So the idea is that we do one reset a year, if that. You know, sometimes we don't even need to do that. And starting at phase 1, we have 2 days of vegetables, and then the 14 days continuation of no oil and no alcohol and no sugar and no grains. And I do suggest that you try no dairy if you've never tried that before, and see what happens when you introduce it. And please, because I know from some of the questions that I get that some people haven't read the book and they're just kind of winging it, thinking that sounds like hard work reading that book. And it's probably very dry and dull. It's very, very short. It's a quick read. And if you read the book and you really understand the reasons why the rules are in place, it makes it much easier to stick to.
It does. For me, it was the first time after years of doing lots of, I don't know if I'm allowed to say brands on here, am I? Am I allowed to, Petronella?
Yeah.
But yeah, years I've done absolutely everything. Slimming World, Weight Watchers, you're counting points, but you never know why, what for, what does that mean? Human Being Diet is probably the only one where I've read it, I've understood, and I still understand now when I go off, like when I've gone off plan, I know whatever I'm putting in my mouth, I know what effect that's going to have on my body and why. Not just short term, it's not about weight, it's about health and how that's going to change my hormones. Like you said around insulin, how it's going to crash that, what I might see afterwards. And you're just really very aware. Yeah.
Have you seen any more questions there? And quite a few people have been in touch that are also suffering with autoimmune. And again, you know, getting rid of gluten is very, very important for all of us. Getting rid of dairy, autoimmune, and getting rid of nightshades. And Christy found that they were a problem for her with inflammation as well. Really the key things, key takeaways. Take them out. Yeah.
And somebody said to me, oh, not said to me, but said in there, says for me, it's the binge eating habit they want to look after. They do diets, then fall into binge eating. I would say, I agree, that's happened to me previously. HBD, I think the fact that you fast and you're weighing everything at first, those first 16 days of getting into that habit is probably sacrosanct. So after that, you won't even be hungry. You don't feel hungry. You don't feel the need to binge, because probably within the first week, you start to feel that health and the glow. And the first thing for me was my skin. And HBD really used kind of shared images. Me and her kind of worked together, not together, but on a lot of online meetings often. And she said to me, after I'd been doing HBD for about 2 weeks, she said, what are you doing at the moment? You look really amazing over camera, because we're obviously by a team. She said, your skin's glowing. And I'd started telling her about HBD. And she always says to me now, you were my inspiration from just seeing you via the camera, your skin and everything had changed. So I would say, to say to that question, as soon as you get into that week and you feel that glow, I always call it a smug and healthy feeling.
Yeah.
You won't binge ever again, because you don't get hungry anyway, and that goes out of your head, because you start feeling the other benefits that you want to do and get excited about cooking. I love cooking HBD. I've never cooked so much. I love it.
That's great. And get the book, the recipe book on Amazon. It's less than £2 and features Christie's amazing egg muffins, which are fantastically portable as well. So you can take them with you to work or whatever.
And freezable. You can cook them, freeze them, everything. It's fine.
And they're fabulous. And thank you to everybody who contributed to that. It's really, I think it's just such a lovely thing. Is it called the HBD Collaborative Cookbook? I think it is. And
It is.
Yeah, it was HBD Gang on Instagram, taking photographs and cooking up delicious things and sharing them with us. Really, really lovely. So Ginny says she's read the book 3 times. Thank you, Ginny. And it really, really helps understanding it's true, isn't it? It's really, really important.
You learn to do every read it. So if you're starting in that September the 10th reset and you've got the book already, read it more than once, because you will learn and you'll absorb something different every single time you read it. 16 months later, something else clicks and stays with me different each time I read it.
It's true, isn't it? It's a bit like if you see a film 2 or 3 times, there's always something you missed the first or second time. Yeah, no, it's true. Have you seen any more questions though, Suli?
No, I think we're...
Oh, here we go. Broad Bean. It's not a question. She says, I've been trying to lose weight for over a decade. This is the only thing that has ever worked. I don't stick to anything and I love all the wrong food. This has literally changed me. That's great. Well done, you. Well done for...
Well done. That's the same attitude as I have, Broad Bean. So, yeah, I'm with you all the way.
Lovely to see you here, Broad Bean. Well, that's
great
been...
as well. I like Broad Bean. I like the name of it.
Yeah, just one other thing, thinking about the foods we binge on. they're nearly always based on something with dairy or something with wheat, and of course sugar. And if we take those three things out, it just gives you a sense of sanity back again. And then if you have them like Christy had, she was actually physically violently sick after eating. It was probably the gluten in the chocolate cake. It was her
Yeah.
first. You know, a lot of
The
eating.
gluten, everything is what made me sick. It was too much for me.
Yeah. Is it okay to take probiotics? Yes, do take Simproof. Do take the unsweetened one. It's called Original Flavor, and it's pretty rank, but I promise you get used to it very quickly, and it's really, really good for you. So thank you, my darling, very much again, and ever and always for sharing
My
your
pleasure.
story, for inspiring people, for talking to so many fellow endo sufferers and giving them hope that there is something they can do about it to make themselves feel better. You know,
And I'll never stop talking about it because it's something so passionate and personal to me. I kind of just want to share it with everybody. Let's take over. Let's take over the world.
you're such a star, Christy. Thank you. Bless you, darling. You really are, darling. Thank you, thank you. It's been lovely talking, and let's do it again soon.
Definite. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, my darling. Bye, sweetie.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.
See you later. Bye.